5 o'clock, and time for Wiregrass Strong. The new coronavirus epidemic is a big problem that's expected to become bigger in the weeks and months to come. For those who are infected as well as those trying to avoid infection, these are trying times. But amid all the doom and gloom, there are some positive stories, positive messages, and reasons to remain hopeful. So every afternoon at this time, your Wiregrass Radio family of stations will come together while staying apart to help you stay informed. We're going to be seeking your input. If you're a business impacted by the virus, call and let the Wiregrass know what you are doing to continue safely providing your services or goods. And if you're a parent working hard to take care of your family, we'd love to hear how you are coping. Remember, only the facts, no hearsay or rumors, and we're trying to keep things positive. Our number is 334-699-1053, or you can join us on YouTube Live, and you can chat throughout the program. And welcome to a Wiregrass Strong for a Thursday afternoon. So proud you folks could join us. We are broadcasting on all four of our FM radio stations, WESP, WECB, WJRL Dothan, and WBBK Blakely Dothan. Also broadcasting on Facebook Live at B1053 and streaming on YouTube Live at Wiregrass Radio. This half hour is brought to us in public service of Knights Wrecker Service. Big or small, they do it all. 899-3257 Knights Wrecker Service. Give them a call. And it's a good time to have our guest on today. Day 52, I think, of a nation in shutdown, and it's week 7 for us on Wiregrass Strong. We've had a lot of great guests on here and repeat guests this afternoon. First of all, let me introduce David Gilligan. He is half of the Pollard and Dave Morning Show. It's usually Dave Wash Your Dang Hands Gilligan. And we're going to have a reprieve, Dave, of your hand-washing technique.
I'll gladly demonstrate it to anybody who wants to know the proper way to wash their hands. Good.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And also with us is Squirrel. Rock out the hand sanitizer. Be on Rock 100.5. Squirrel, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon.
You're in the forward fortress, right? You've got the disco lights going back there.
That's right. I am. That is true. And I'm in an undisclosed location.
Mobile, right? You are mobile.
I am very mobile. I've got a few wheels underneath me right now.
All right. And our guest today, he's been here with us before. About a month ago, we had David Sewell on, the superintendent of Houston County Schools. David, proud to have you back this afternoon.
Thank you.
And a lot of stuff has happened in the past month. The end of last month, our Governor Kay Ivey came out with the Safer at Home guidelines, which opened up very little. But I know that included in those guidelines, down to the Alabama State Department of Education, the superintendent, Dr. Eric Mackey, were some guidelines that came on down to the local level, the county level, and that would, of course, be you, David. What kind of things have happened over the past month?
Dave instructed us to go ahead with graduation as long as we can do it within the guidelines. And Dr. Mackey asked us to push the start of school back towards the end of August. Originally, we were starting school back August the 3rd, and we were working on a new calendar to push it further back towards the end of August. Not into September, but to the end of August. We are doing all we can about social districting and the washing of the hands. I heard you making fun of Dave about washing hands. We're going to have to really stress that when we start back, especially to our elementary students. Our maintenance department, they have gone through and sanitized our schools and put up all kinds of soap stations and hand sanitizers. So
that's very comforting to hear, David. That is super good to know for the county schools. I got to ask you, a lot of seniors are got questions. I've got a senior in high school myself, and they've got questions, David. So I'm gonna throw a couple of them your way. They're looking for a prom that they haven't been able to have yet.
Some of our schools have canceled proms because unless the governor really surprises me on May the 15th, we by her guidelines or the state guidelines, we can't have a prom.
Okay.
And that's I hate it because that's a very important thing to do with school. I won't say that we won't have one, but it would be out in the summer.
I understand. And also people are asking about graduation. I know the guidelines were probably just issued today. I wonder if there's anything you can elaborate on graduation for this year.
We finalized the dates yesterday and today on graduation. Our graduations will be on May the 21st and 22nd. I don't have the times finalized yet, but we're dividing it up across two days.
May 21st and May 22nd, and that's for the Houston County seniors that you're talking about there. Well, that's great news. I know they're looking forward to that ceremony. It's a very important rite of passage, I think, in this country, and it'll certainly help the community feel like we're moving forward.
Right. I met with one school today, and we worked out all got close to working out most of the details. And Monday, I will be meeting with the other 4 high schools, and we will work out the details for them.
Outstanding. Outstanding. A lot of kids are going to be a lot of parents are going to be very happy to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, David, indoor, outdoor, is it, you're going to have the graduation indoors?
No, we're going to do it outdoors. We're going to do it down at the Peanut Festival.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Down at the amphitheater, and like I said, we're still working on some of the details. It's going to be very short. Like I said, we'll be releasing some of the details as we get it worked out, but we're slowly working on it.
Well, that's great. I mean, that like Dave said, that was one of the pressing concerns of the seniors to at least have the graduation. Yeah. If not a prom, but I can see where a prom would be more problematic than.
Yeah, certainly more difficult to do until, like David says, until we've got a much clearer vision of what exactly is going on. Which brings up my third question, David. You've got teachers ramping up for a school year come heck or high water. Any special precautions that the teachers have been having to make? Are they having to incorporate new facets of their day with the students?
Well, we have had a wide range of things for the students, and our teachers have done a great job. And a lot of things had to do with what they were strong in, but the majority of our students ended up with the packets. Some teachers did some online things and still did, and most of them did a combination of packets, paper packets and online where they could, but doing it online where you cannot walk them through it and help them log in is very difficult.
Sure. Can't be easy.
I know y'all been real busy with that. A lot of phone calls being made by your staff and contacting parents and working hand in hand with those, like you said, that may not have the technology to get online. They can get the packets. Squirrel, any questions for David this afternoon?
Well, pretty much covered everything, but I have been personally not concerned. I guess the best question would be, I've personally been thinking about, I guess you could say, the school lunches that you all have been doing, for the kids that's been home, you can come by and pick up the lunches and stuff like that. How did that turn out? How is that working out right now? And for these kids that don't have lunches at home, they can get lunch.
Ours is a unique situation. We're very rural. Most of the schools, we only had limited success. We're going to try again next week. It's funny that you mention it. Next week, we're going to try to do lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday, they will either have lunches delivered or picked up at the school for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, they will get a lunch for Thursday and Friday. And we're going to see how it goes from that. But so many of our students are not close to the school. They would have to get a ride to the school, and some of the parents, where they're already working, they can't get off work. If they're fortunate enough to be able to go to work, they can't get off to go and bring the students to the school to pick up the lunches. And so, like I said, it was very limited when we did it earlier.
It was a beautiful thing. Love that idea.
Yeah. And like I said, we continue to try, and we'll probably try to do a summer lunch program.
That'll be great. Yeah.
David, was there a tie-in with the EBT or SNAP program that also helped out? Did that come down from the state?
We had nothing to do with that. I spoke to our CMP. We had some calls, but we had something to do with it in that our students, they pulled a lot of information from our student tracking software. But as far as us actually receiving any of those funds or responsible for them, no, we did not.
All right, the 2021 school year in the fall, PPE for teachers. How are y'all addressing that? I know that a lot of the teachers are elderly. Some of them may have comorbidity issues, and you mentioned earlier there may be some that don't return to work for fear of the virus. But are there plans in place to provide PPE for teachers?
Yes. Any teacher that wants it, we have masks out and gloves out in the school for them. Right now, we do not have enough for the students, but now for the teachers and the staff, we could cover those. As you know, there's a shortage. We would be hard pressed getting enough for the students. But like I said, we have hand sanitizer. As it frees up, as we're able to get more, we would probably try to put hand sanitizer in each room. We would encourage the students to wash their hands. Like I said, simple things they say are the strongest thing against this virus. The washing of the hands, tell them not to touch their faces and things like that. And the young students are the hardest ones that don't know it. And we're going to have to do a good job of teaching them. The teachers are going to have to say, look, little Johnny, you need to wash your hands. This is, use soap and water in 20 seconds. And, like I said, it would be the younger students that we really have to stress that to.
I can see that with the early elementary grades. Everything goes in your face, it goes in your face and in their face, and sharing lunch boxes and everything else. So I can understand where that'd be an issue. Speaking of hand sanitizer and the social distancing, does this pose a problem for Houston County schools, all the school systems, I wonder?
Oh, yes.
Is it going to mean smaller classes to keep more separation?
Well, I'm hoping.
Because, of course, smaller classes mean more teachers, and that's going to be an issue.
But now, see, that would be a legislative issue because we have to use their devisors. Of course, more teachers means more money. Well, because of the shutdown, the way it has, there's going to be less money. available. There's less. Right now, it hasn't affected us quite that much because they were still planning spending in March. When we look at the tax revenue for April, we're going to see quite a bit of a change. And I don't feel like the funds will be there. I mean, I would love to have more money, to hire more teachers, more classrooms. Of course, in some cases, I would have to build some more classrooms or get more. But again, those are good problems to have.
I've been watching close, and there has been some talk about perhaps more units, which would mean more classrooms, more separation. But of course, it does mean more teachers as well. Becca has a question down here on our live stream. I probably missed it when it started, but is this for DCS only or Houston County as well? I think, we're talking to David this afternoon, Becca, and he's the superintendent of Houston County Schools, and we'll have to get with Dr. Phyllis to find out what the Dothan City Schools are doing. So that hopefully answers your question. When does it start? Well, as David said, the school year is going to be pushed back from early August to perhaps late August, getting next year underway. Here's a big question for you, David. I don't know if you can answer it or not. High school sports. What about it?
That was my next question.
Well, everybody's calling me saying that this team or that team is practicing or whatever. Right now, none of the schools in Houston County are practicing, or none of the teams. However, Dr. Mackey said that in June the 8th, we could start organized practicing with groups of 10 or less. He said that we could have 10 football players, 10 volleyball players. You could have 10 working out, and I interpreted that as the old football coach. I could have 10 down on one end of the field and 10 on the other end of the field.
10 per coach.
Yeah. As long as we didn't come together, and he did, and this could very easily change. I mean, this is depends on a lot of things. But he said if you work out, not only would you have to wipe down the machines after each workout, you'd have to do it then in between each set. In other words, if I went and then Squirrel went, we'd have to wipe it down in between. I think that possibly the wearing of gloves could help with this, but there are going to be some strict guidelines. And again, unless things happen, they could very easily loosen them up and say, hey, instead of 10, you could have 20. Or they can say it's getting worse and you can't do it at all.
Right.
That's true.
It's very, it could change tomorrow, either way.
Well, certainly when it comes to our children, I would definitely err on the side of caution.
Right.
We don't want to make them susceptible when we're trying to provide them an education. Super thrilled with all the news that you've been bringing us this afternoon, David. Graduation, once again, you guys have determined on did you say the 26th of this month?
The 21st and 22nd we'll be graduating. That will help keep the schools apart and reasonably small groups.
Mm-hmm. So that's great news. I just my son's a senior and he's just itching to know. He's Dothan City Schools, but I know there's a lot of seniors just like my son. They just got to know, when is this happening? Yeah.
I don't know the details, but I do know that Dothan has got something worked out also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I want to ask real quick about the phasing in of classrooms. I took a look at what the governor had issued, or what their offices had issued, and wow, glad I don't have to translate that. But I'm getting the idea that they're doing a similar thing like they're doing with businesses, kind of a phasing in of classrooms. They're going to kind of mix packets and home video teleschooling or whatever. Is that kind of what the county's looking at?
And that's what we've been doing here at the end. like I said, I'm sure that we'll get some more guidance over the summer. And that's the good thing about pushing the start date back. We will have more times to prepare for next year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look at a lot of changes. Now, the good thing about this, out in the rural parts of Houston County, we do not have very good internet service, but the legislature is putting forth more money to bring the internet to rural parts of the state, and I mean that's something that's really needed.
Well, apparently they're putting up a bunch of satellites, David, so we're going to have blanketed internet before too long.
Well, like I said, I do know that, and I won't call the name of the company, that they're busy running fiber in the southeast part of Houston County. And like I said, I don't know the legislator's name. He was talking about more money to run more fiber, which is a more stable type of internet.
I want to remind you that this half hour is brought to you as a public service of Knights Wrecker Service. Big or small, they do it all. 899-3257. Ashford, Dothan, and Headland to get to you really fast. Give them a call if you need them. 899-3257. Streaming live on Facebook, B1053, YouTube at Wiregrass Radio. And our guest this afternoon, David Sewell, the superintendent of Houston County Schools, and he's been answering quite a few questions. It's been a good conversation. If you have a question for David, just leave it in the text area right there, the chat area. Transportation, David, how is this going to affect the routes, the buses, the drivers, the kids?
Well, we're going to have to reevaluate some of it. We try not to load our buses to the max. When you look at a bus, and they say it's a 72 passenger bus, they're talking about 72 elementary students, probably first or second graders. When you start throwing junior high and all that, the numbers go way down. We will more than likely have to add several routes with, cover buses, which again, more buses, more drivers, and a larger need for money,
more fuel.
So
it all compounds on top of itself.
That's right.
And right now, it's not a good time to get the news that we've kind of plateaued. We kind of hoped we could keep those numbers going down, but I think the consensus now is that we've kind of plateaued, and we got to be very careful. And I know that you're having to weigh all that, you and Dr. Mackey at the state level. And, of course, our governor is working on it with Dr. Scott Harris. So all of that has to play into doing this safely. And I pray that graduation is going to be a good and festive time, although you said it would be a quick graduation, not a lot of lingering, just kind of send them out for the long one and throw the diploma.
It's going to be hot too now. Come on now. By the end of this month, it's going to be full on summer probably.
Yeah. And
it will be.
We did a lot of thought. We had several different scenarios, and this seemed to be the best. I ran it by several parents, and they thought that this was the best.
I'm excited for the seniors. I can remember back to when I was graduating and how excited I was, even for that short ceremony.
Yeah.
It's just a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And I know it's a big part of their lives. So I'm excited that you guys are moving forward on that. That's really the best.
And then I hate it. Of course, graduations are always short and quick. I mean, it only takes just a minute, for junior to walk across the stage and hand it to it. And unfortunately, this will be even quicker. But like I said, it is a reward for most of them, and because some of them are going on to college, although they're not leaving right now. We have some that's going to the military, and they have a leave time. But like I said, it's good. It's a reward for them and for their parents for putting up with them for. 12
And
or 13 or 15.
brings up another point. That brings up another point. Your staff has been very busy in the student counseling area, because even though all of this happened to us and everything slowed down and the graduation and the proms were question marks, seniors had to go ahead and assess their immediate future, which was either a tech school or a college or military or what followed. And that meant your staff continued to have to in the counseling area.
Yeah, a lot of the staff and a lot of the teachers, they really have missed very little time because we're preparing for next year. We're developing schedules for the students that are coming back. We're doing school maintenance on different things. We're changing out doors and just a lot of different things. And as you said a moment ago, all of the classroom teachers have been developing packets and doing things online.
Well, y'all have been a busy crew in Houston County, and our hats off to you for making everything happen to this point. And like you said, it's still somewhat fluid because we don't know what's going to happen. But right now, it looks like, go ahead and give us those graduation dates again, David.
The 21st of May the 21st and 22nd. And there will be more next week as we finalize. We'll get out to the media, and I'll get up with you and let you know the exact details.
Well, that's just a couple of weeks away.
That's right.
Was graduation already in planning? The cap, the gowns, ordering?
Oh yeah. Trust me. Yeah, that's been taken care of.
Yeah, and actually, we were very fortunate. We discussed moving it out to June. But we were able to do it. May the 22nd was the original date, so we've got it back, and we're back on the time frame.
That's awesome.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful right there. You were able to meet the original timeline. That's pretty good. Let's go around the room here. Squirrel, any final questions for David?
Not questions, but I do have a timeline for everybody out there.
All right.
And that would be Starlink satellites that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, that we see the trains rolling through the sky after they get launched. They're looking at around October for North American to be high-speed data anywhere. You could be 50 miles off the beaten path, and you're going to get high-speed internet.
Nice.
I've been sold that before. I think President Obama said we were going to have high-speed internet for everybody, and that didn't happen.
This took a private citizen to actually make it happen, and it's happening. You can't let the government deal with everything. Sometimes citizens have to make the way for everybody, and Elon Musk is doing it right now, and it's going to be laser fast, they're saying. So that's actually a little bit faster than what fiber optics can do right now. So those kids that are off on the beaten path, we're talking, they'll have that internet. They'll be able to access everything that the school has to offer at no problem whatsoever.
Well, that, I grew up with NASA, but when you turn things over to private industry, sometimes you get better results in some cases.
Citizens have bigger dreams, man. I mean, look at Elon. He said that was his dream. His dream was to go into space. He got PayPal going, made billions, turned around, invested that money right back into what his dream was. And now he's doing it. He's doing it without one thought of what any government really says. And it's happening. And that's a beautiful thing.
Dave, how about you? Any final questions for Dave?
My morning show partner would be very upset, David, if I didn't ask you if you had the recipe for lunchroom lady peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, Lord.
Well, we use commodity bread, commodity peanut butter, which you can't beat.
That's the best. It's the best.
That's right. And one of the lunchroom ladies brings a jar of jelly from home.
Oh my goodness!
There you go. Nothing better.
Those sandwiches and the soy burgers, man, they were the best.
Close this program out with the recipe for lunch lady peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. David Sewell, the superintendent of Houston County Schools. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you, sir.
And I want to tell everybody that we will be getting all this information out to everyone next week. We'll be using mass calling, and I'll let the media know the exact details. Like I said, we've just got everything. Yesterday, we got the approval from the State Department, and like I said, I started meeting with the schools today to work out the fine details.
Absolutely wonderful. And you can always go to the Houston County Schools website. You can find more information there, or the Alabama State Department of Education. They have a good website as well. Check that out. David Sewell, once again, thank you so much for being with us, sir. Squirrel, thank you so much for being with us. And Dave, and I tell you what, we look forward to tomorrow afternoon on Wiregrass Strong. Our guest will be Dr. Lee Hughes of the Dothan Anesthesiologist Associates. He'll be in here, and we'll be talking with him on a medical angle, looking at the local area in respect to the COVID. So that will be tomorrow with Dr. Lee Hughes right here on Wiregrass Strong. Squirrel, see you later.
We'll see you.
All right. Join us tomorrow on Wiregrass Strong. Want to remind you it's brought to you by Knight's Record Service. Big or small, they do it all. 899-3257. Ashford, Dothan, and Headland. You can count on the crew over there. Dwayne, Terry, Caleb, Jerry, the entire family. Let them be your knight in shining armor. Knight's Record Service. Streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Until tomorrow, stay strong, Wiregrass, and we will return you now to the local programming.